My name is Alexei Raz, and I'm honored to introduce the 2021 Red and White Week guest speaker, Brad R. Lambert. Brad graduated from NC State in 2012 from the College of Natural Resources. He then worked for almost 10 years in the sports industry, working with professional athletes and sports teams, before moving to Los Angeles to work with Robert Downey Jr. Following up his time with Downey, he went to work with Warner Brothers for 2 years to manage their marketing campaigns for TV, film, and catalog titles, and was a part of 3 Clio award-winning campaigns during his tenure. Since leaving Warner Brothers, he has been producing film, TV, and digital content, covering the entertainment industry as a journalist and host, consulting with major brands and studios, and managing talent and speaking all over the world. Please give a warm Wolfpack welcome to our very own Brad R. Lambert.
I'm a B, rockin' it, capital G, B infinite, B-E-P, we definite, we on some next level shit, futuristic musically, powerful with energy.
NC State! I gotta say, it's absolutely incredible to be back at NC State. I haven't been back on campus for probably 10 years now. Like, it blows my mind. I spoke here a couple years ago, but it was off campus, so I really haven't seen the campus and how much it's changed and evolved since I was here. And that's the beautiful thing about this campus is you guys are at NC State. You're part of the Wolfpack. This campus constantly evolves and enhances for you guys. So I want to shout out NC State and the Alumni Association for having me here today. I'm very grateful for that. So as you know, my name is Brad Lambert. I'm a producer. I'm a talent manager. I'm an international speaker. I'm an entertainment host and journalist. I'm a consultant. I do a lot in the entertainment industry. I have a lot of titles. It's a lot, it's hard to keep up with, guys. But the beautiful thing about it is I'm a firm believer that you can do whatever you want to do in life if you're leading with value, you're building long-term genuine relationships, and you're handling things the right way. So those are the 2 main things we're going to talk about today: leading with value and building those long-term relationships, okay? Genuine relationships. So, having said that, coming out to LA, being in the sports space for almost 10 years, it was a journey. But everything that I've done has been in and around my passions. And for you guys tonight, I want you guys to leave, hopefully learning something, 2, being inspired, being happy, and just being excited to go out and create your dream life. And I want that for you guys, truly. And it's my goal here tonight to hopefully say something that impacts you guys in one way, that you guys can leave here inspired and hopefully get to that dream life, right? So, leading with value. Number 1, I try to add as much value as humanly possible to as many people as humanly possible, as often as humanly possible. Big or small. A lot of people think that, oh, I have to do the biggest thing of all time each and every day, otherwise it doesn't matter. That's not true. If you can solve problems consistently for other people, add value consistently to other people, your phone will always ring. And that's a good problem to have. If your phone's ringing, that means people want you to do stuff. And that's what you need. You want to be sought after because you get stuff done, right? So that's my goal each and every day. So when I'm moving forward, I'm leading with value, and I'm looking to build those long-term genuine relationships. I'm trying to surround myself with people who I admire and who inspire me. It's not because I want something. It's because I want these relationships. I want to have genuine relationships with these people. That's it. And if I end up getting something in return down the line, fantastic. Right? Networking. You guys know networking, right? Yeah? Okay. Yeah. Well, networking's dead from here on out. I want you to look at networking differently. Okay? Networking is dead. Because networking, especially in my business, in Hollywood and entertainment, it's very bad taste. Very negative connotation. Because people collect contacts like Pokemon cards. Right? They don't care the name of the card. They don't care what the card does. They don't care what the card's background is. All they care about is the value that the card has to them. What can I do with the card? What can the card do for me? Can I sell the card? Can I flip the card? Right? That's what networking is. So from here on out, we're going to be focusing on building long-term, genuine relationships with other people. Not because you want something, right? Because you want that genuine relationship. So networking is dead. We're focusing on relationships, okay? And if you do that, I promise you, you will put yourself in the best possible situation to be successful and happy. Because if you're surrounding yourself with good people, life is so good, man. I'm so blessed and grateful to be around the people that you've seen. I've worked with some of the biggest people in the entire world. Robert Downey Jr., Marvel Studios, Disney, the likes of Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary V, anybody? Gary V? Okay, yeah. So Gary V, thank you. Lewis Howes, Jim Quick, Jay Shetty. I mean, but each and every day, I'm just trying to surround myself with people who I admire and who inspire me. And I'm also trying to build a life around my passions, right? So I'm trying to go out and surround myself with these people who I admire and who will hopefully accept me into their life. That's my goal each and every day. So I want to take you back to a story when I was in high school. And I was having ice cream with my mom. We were at Brewster's, and we're sitting there, and I'm like, Mom, why can't I be friends with Selena Gomez? Yeah, go ahead and laugh. I swing for the fence, guys, okay? So you go ahead and laugh if you want. But I asked her that, and my mom said, well, honey, biggest supporter I have. I'm so grateful for her. She's like, sweetheart, Selena lives a very different life. She's in Los Angeles. She's in the entertainment industry, and she was giving all these reasons, right? And I looked at her, I said, that's not a reason as to why we can't be friends. So Selena, if you're watching, I'm still here. But I've kept that mantra my entire life. I truly believe that you guys can have and do whatever you want to do in life if you do things the right way. Within reason, okay? But also, I emphatically believe that you can build relationships with whoever you want in life if you approach things the right way. And that's building genuine relationships and leading with value, okay? So in high school, I loved sports. I'm from Pittsburgh. Anybody? Pittsburgh? Okay, okay. Big Steeler fan, right? Yeah, 100%. Big Pittsburgh fan. Steelers, Penguins. Pretty sure we have a baseball team. Who knows at this point, right? The Pirates probably traded them away. But I love sports, so I wanted to have relationships with these guys that I cheered on the weekends. I love the Steelers. My favorite player growing up, Willie Parker, running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers, two-time Super Bowl champion, longest run in Super Bowl history. Apologies to any Seahawk fans that are here tonight, but nobody was catching fast Willie, okay? So I wanted to have a relationship with this guy. That's it. That's all I wanted. I didn't want autographs. I didn't want jerseys. I didn't want tickets. I just wanted to be a person in his life that he could count on for anything. Having a genuine relationship and knowing that, hey, Brad's in my corner for love and support, and I tried to bring as much value as humanly possible to him and his family. That's it. I just wanted to be a part of his life. So I ended up getting connected to him and his family, and they're actually here tonight, sitting in the back. So shout out to you guys. Love you guys so much. Now, it's funny, because I met these guys when I was 16, 17 years old. And last time I checked, it's been a long time since then, all right? And they're here today. So if that's not the definition of a long-term, genuine relationship, I don't know what is, okay? So thank you guys for coming. I love you. But I wanted to build, and I wanted to be a part of their life. So knowing that Willie was a professional athlete and he was very busy, and if you guys want to connect with high-level executives, entrepreneurs, celebrities, influencers, whatever, you have to understand that these people are busy, right? It's going to take time to connect with them. And you can't imagine the amount of texts and emails they get a day, hundreds if not thousands. So most of the time, your stuff doesn't get read, and most of the time, you don't get responses. So if you're building from a genuine aspect, right, that doesn't matter because you're continually reaching out. And I would reach out, I would check in, I'd say, hey, Willie, great game Sunday. Awesome touchdown. We got to talk about that celebration. But other than that, it was great. And I would just continually reach out. How's the family? How's the off season? Just checking in. How's your mom? How's your dad? How's your brother? How's your sister? And genuinely meaning that. They're here today. Hello, genuine, okay? Actually giving a crap about who Willie was on and off the field and his family. And that's what I did. and I built with them, and that was so special for that situation for me, right? And it took time, because at first Willie's used to people coming up to him asking him for money and opportunity, jerseys, autographs, photos, choices. Do we have any Harry Potter fans in here? Yeah? Harry, come on, guys. The films and books are loaded with quotes, okay? And one of my favorite quotes is from Dumbledore. And he says, "It is not our abilities that show who we truly are. It is our choices." So in high school, when I had the relationship with Willie and a bunch of the other players, I would go to training camp with my friends. And we'd go and we'd scatter after practice and try to get as many autographs and photos as possible. And we'd all come back after 30, 40 minutes and be like, "Who'd you get? What photos, autographs, anything? What'd you get?" And we'd compare, right? But they'd be like, "Brad, what'd you get?" I'd be like, "I didn't get anything." They're like, "Brad, you have 30 minutes. What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, but I got 7 phone numbers." Choices, right? Making the smart choices. You can have the quick ROI, right? Return on your investment of getting a photo or an autograph, or you could try to build a long-term relationship, right? And then the photos and autographs, you'll have too many that you can count. But the point is, you have the genuine relationship, and that's what matters. And that's where my mindset was. Last week, I was at the world premiere for Marvel Studios' Eternals. Marvel fans in here? Come on. Okay. So I was at the world premiere for Eternals. It's awesome. In theaters November 5th. Make sure to check it out. Next chapter of the MCU. Never gets old. I'm on the carpet. I look over and I see Menger Zhang. Okay? She played Xialing in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Shang-Chi's sister. Brilliant actress, and I saw her husband, Young, was with her. And I saw my friend run up, get a photo, and leave. And I was like, okay. So I walked up, introduced myself to her husband, Young, who I've had very brief interactions with on social media, just showing love. And I said, "Young, Brad Lambert, nice to meet you." I'm like, "Hey man, what are you working on next? What's next for you?" And once again, it's not about me. It's not about you. It's about the person you're trying to connect with and build with, right? So that's your focus. I'm here tonight, not for me. I'm here for you. I'm serving you guys tonight. And I'm very grateful to be here. But in that situation, I was serving Young. What could I do for him, right? So I put the emphasis on him. What are you working on, man? What's next? You crushed Shang-Chi. He was like the stunt director on Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Brilliant film. But what's next for you? Well, man, I'm producing, I'm writing, I want to get more into that space, I have a bunch of projects that I'm trying to do. And I said, "Hey man, well, I'm a producer. So if there's anything I can do to help you in what you're working on, I would love the opportunity to do so." And he was like, "Oh my gosh." He's like, "What's your email?" Gave it to him right then and there, and he emailed me on the spot. I'm on the carpet, got the call, or the email. And now I have a meeting with him when I get back to LA next week. Lead with value. That's your goal each and every day. I'm not asking, "Hey, can I get a picture? Hey, da-da-da." No. The focus is building relationships. I knew Robert Downey Jr. for 5 years before I asked for a photo. And you know when I asked him, you know what he did? He laughed in my face. He said, "Get over here, man. Like, you crazy?" And I was like, "Okay, sure, it's great, you know." But I waited 5 years. I had countless opportunities for that photo. But the photo didn't matter to me. Because once you ask for something, regardless of a photo, a job, an opportunity, whatever, you put yourself in a category. You're a fan, right? Or you just want something. And when you lead with gimme, 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 that's a category you don't want to be in. Because people look at you and they say, "Ooh, Glory, man, she only wants stuff." So not only are you going to lose that relationship that you want, but you're also going to lose that reputation. Your reputation will be in the toilet because that person that you're trying to connect with is now going to go around and say to everyone who might come in contact with you that Glory, she's very disingenuous and she just wants stuff. Okay. Now I'm in Los Angeles and my bullshit meter's off the charts. I can smell you from 6 miles away. So when you're trying to connect with high-level executives, celebrities, influencers, business owners, they're in the same boat because people are always coming to ask for stuff. So that should not be your priority. Reach out, offer value. That's your goal day in and day out. If you do that consistently, your phone will always ring. So I grew with Willie. I grew in the sports space all through high school. And then it came time to go to college. And I applied stupidly to one school, and one school only. Can you guess what school that was? Wow, you guys are so good. NC State, yes. I went to NC State. And not only NC State, but I applied to get into engineering. So I really put myself in a tough spot. There was no backup plan. It was NC State or I'm up Schitt's Creek, okay? So luckily I had good grades in high school and I got in for engineering. But I went into engineering because I had family members who did engineering. And at the time, I knew what I loved. I loved sports and I loved entertainment. But from a career path and a job, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I want to say right now, right here, that if you don't know what you want to do in life this second, it's okay. Don't put the unnecessary pressure of having to figure it out this minute, because that's unfair to you. Because life is ever changing. It's constantly changing and moving and flowing, and you will have to adjust with that. I mean, we all dealt with that pandemic, right? 2020 was brutal in the entertainment industry. Shut the whole thing down. I lost all my business. But I focused on what I could control, and I got out of it, right? So don't put that unnecessary pressure on yourself to figure it out this minute. But I will say, don't get complacent either. Don't be like, oh, I'll figure it out when I graduate. Don't do that either. I'm where I am today because I maximized every second I could, both in high school and in college, to get as much experience as possible. So when I did graduate, the other students that I graduated with, I was eons ahead of where they were from an experience standpoint. And that's not a flex, that's a fact. And that's because I put the time and effort into doing that. And you want to put your best foot forward and be in the best possible situation to be successful, right? So maximize the hours in the day. Reach out, volunteer, work for free. And I know some of you are like, I can't do that. You have to. I've worked for free so much in my life, it's nauseating. And my parents were certainly not happy about it, but I wouldn't be where I am today without it. Maximize your time now, don't wait. But also, don't put that stress on yourself to, I have to figure it out this minute, because that's not fair. Because life changes. I never expected to be in the entertainment industry. I was fully committed in sports, but then I had the opportunity to take that opportunity of a lifetime, and I didn't hesitate. Once again, life is constantly moving and changing. So I went to NC State for engineering. That lasted 15 minutes. I went to my first class, walked in. I think it's E&G 101, right? No? E101? Thank you. E101. And I walked in, walked out 15 minutes later. I was like, nope, not for me. But once again, if you know something's not for you, make a change. Don't just settle and say, oh, this is what I have to do. No, make a change. If you're in a job you hate, change it. If you're in a relationship you hate, change it. It's up to you. It's in your hands, right? Don't settle for less than what you deserve. And I know that sounds super cliche, but I was fully committed for engineering and immediately pulled the plug when I knew it wasn't for me. I went to my counselor and said, hey, this isn't working. They were like, okay, well, what do you want to do? I don't know. Well, what do you like? I love sports and I love entertainment. I worked at a movie theater all through high school. So for me, I was like, I love movies, but I also had a lot of experience in sports, working with my athletes and whatnot, right? And the counselor was like, okay, how about Parks, Rec, and Tourism, sport management? Sport management, anyone? Okay, yeah, up there. Shout out to you. So I went the sport management route, and I extended my sports experience from high school into college. But once again, I'm not complacent, but I'm always grateful. Big difference, okay? Never complacent, never satisfied, always grateful. So, freshman year, my best friend Corey calls me. He says, hey bro, this entrepreneur from New York, big time entrepreneur, came to my school at ECU. Boo, right? Come on. So he went to ECU and he gave a speech, and my guy was like, dude, he's amazing, super talented guy by the name of Jonathan Wrestler. I don't know if they're here tonight, but his son, Bo Wrestler, plays for NC State. And yeah, exactly. And when I knew Bo, he was about 3 feet tall, okay? Literally 3 feet tall. Now he's the size of a tree, okay? So, growing up, right? Somehow I missed that step. But I immediately, Corey knows that if there is something to go after, he just change up right to me. I'm a heat-seeking missile, and I'll go after it. So I didn't waste any time. I reached out to Jonathan, and I said, hey, man, if there's anything I can do for you and your business, I would love that opportunity to do so. That experience would be great. So that reaching out, offering value, not asking for something, he immediately gave me a job, and I actually got a job for Corey as well. And that was an awesome opportunity and experience. I worked with an agency full-time when I was at NC State. School, working full-time for a legitimate agency. Now, Jonathan's clients were Fortune 500 brands and companies in New York City, so I would go to New York once or twice a month, sit down in these boardrooms with these Fortune 500 companies, and Jonathan would look at me and he'd say, sit there and shut up. He's from New York, it's fine. He's like, take it all in and experience all of this. And that's what I did. And it was an awesome experience for me at an early age because I didn't know what I was doing. I was a freshman, sophomore in college. But that experience of sitting in those boardrooms and being a part of those things, learning by trial by fire, having my feet to the fire, failing more times than I can count, but I don't look at it as failing, I look at it as learning. And I know some of you are rolling your eyes right now. Sounds super cliche, Brad, but guess what? It's true. Once you wire that into your mindset and say, okay, I either win or I learn, there is no losing. You only find out what you're capable of, what you're good at, and what you're bad at. I want you guys to find the best versions of yourself. And I promise you, it's not in your comfort zone. So if you guys are taking the easy route, you are not going to find the best version of yourself, and you're not going to see what you're truly capable of doing. Do you want that? Yeah, see? So get out there and try new things. Fail. It's okay to fail. I've failed more times than I can count, but I'll do it time and time again, as long as it's not detrimental to my health, obviously. But that's the thing, being fearless in that. Trying new things, finding out what you're good at, what you're bad at. That's what I did with that opportunity. Now when I go in a boardroom and I sit down with a guy like Robert Downey Jr. or Marvel Studios or the president of marketing at a major studio, I'm ice cold. I'm not afraid. I'm not nervous. Tonight, this is incredible. Full house, ice cold. And I love it. But that's because I challenged myself at an early age, right? I didn't wait, and I don't want you guys to wait either. There's so many opportunities out there to provide value to people, companies, brands, organizations. Get that experience. Pack your resume right now. So when you graduate, you're ahead of everybody else. So I ended up working with Jonathan and his company for 2 or 3 years through college. I ended up taking a year off of school because I was doing a lot of great work with that company. I ended up finishing remotely up in Pittsburgh because I got an internship with the Pittsburgh Power of the Arena Football League. And that team lasted like 25 minutes, but it was still a good experience. And they ended up hiring me after my internship, and I still maintained my entrepreneurial stuff on the side, so I kept going and graduated, got the job. I actually moved back to North Carolina in Charlotte, and then from there, I actually got acquired by an agency in Pittsburgh, so I went back to Pittsburgh. But once again, I'm always looking to surround myself with people who I admire and who inspire me. And I ended up connecting with a man who changed my life. He ended up being one of my best friends and tragically passed away about 5 months ago. He saw some in me and gave me an opportunity to move to Los Angeles to work with Robert Downey Jr. and his team. And that was an experience of a lifetime. And I would not be here today if it wasn't for him. Fact. Okay. So, moved out to Los Angeles to work with Robert Downey Jr. Now, mind you, my family's not in the industry. I don't have a silver spoon. But I created my path, right? Trying to live my life around my passions. And I want that for you guys too. Whatever you're passionate about, whatever you love, go out and add value around those things that you love. And I promise you, you'll find something to do in that space. But a lot of people look at it as one track, right? I want to be a professional athlete. I'm 5'8" on a good day, guys. It's not looking good for me, okay? So, but hey, I could go get a job in the sports industry and work for a professional team. I could be a coach. I could be a trainer. I could work in the front office and still get that high of working in sports. But a lot of people only look at it one track. If I can't be a professional athlete, screw it. That's unfortunately that track, that route didn't work for you, but that doesn't mean you still can't get that high and that passion of working in the sports industry, right? Be flexible, because you will have opportunities if you're flexible in that regard. So when I moved out to Los Angeles, being flexible with that opportunity, not hesitating to move 3,000 miles away from my friends and family, I mean, who would honestly pass that opportunity? So I went out there, learned trial by fire in the entertainment industry, got my shotgun intro to Hollywood, which, let me just say, Hollywood's a totally different animal, okay? It's like the Wild Wild West out there. It's insane. But I got to learn from one of the best to ever do it and his team. Really talented people, and I'm so grateful for my time with them. I learned about script coverage, script analysis, research, production. I brought my business and marketing background with me and tried to provide as much value as humanly possible to them. I was with them for about a year, and they suggested I get studio experience. So I went to Warner Brothers and ended up managing the marketing campaigns for TV, film, and catalog titles. So if you were on social media and you saw content getting posted on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter in 2015 to 2017, I was most likely behind that content, producing. So it was my job. They would give me a lump sum of money and say, here's your budget for the campaign for this movie. It's your job to produce the content with vendors, negotiate the deals, and make sure we have what we need to execute the content from beginning, middle to end. So that was a great opportunity for me because I found myself as a producer there because I'm really savvy on the business side and I'm really savvy on the creative side. And I love that. But coming from Pittsburgh, a very blue-collar town, a very together town, empathetic, kind town, a walk down the street, wave at you town, a we'll open doors for you, chivalrous town. Chivalry's not dead in Pittsburgh, by the way. Unless you're wearing a Ravens or a Patriots jersey, you actually might have something hurled at your head. But that's what's great about Pittsburgh. So moving out to Los Angeles, I came with the same mentality of I'm going to build genuine relationships with people. I'm going to provide that value to other people. And I got hit in the mouth. Hollywood is a different animal. First few weeks on the job, I got called to the principal's office. And the executive was like, what are you doing on the creative floor talking to those people? I also heard you up on the legal floor talking to them. What are you doing? I don't want you doing that. And I said, well, we have to work with these people, right? He's like, yeah. I was like, okay, well, I should probably have relationships with them. He's like, I don't want you doing that. I was like, but why? And he wouldn't give me an actual reason, but it was an insecure, narcissistic, political nonsense that you deal with the industry. So I left, and I ended up continuing to do what I was doing. I built phenomenal relationships with everyone. Sorry, I just noticed you're wearing is that a Patriots hat, or is it a North Carolina hat? You in the front? It's just North Carolina. Okay. I saw Patriots, and it was like, we're about to fight. So I continued to do what I was doing, and I built those relationships with all those different people. And because I took the time to do that, I was very good at my job. Very, very good at my job. What's your name? You. Mackenzie. Let me ask you something. If you're working on a project, David, who you don't know at all, reaches out to you via email and says, Mackenzie, I need your help with something. I would hope you'd help him, but you'd be kind of like, David, I don't know who you are, right? If you have Jason, who actually you've known for 2 years, who put time and effort into building a genuine relationship with you, reaches out and says, Mackenzie, I'm in a bind. Like, can you help me with this? Who are you most likely to help faster? Jason. 100%. So, because I had these relationships, if I was in a bind and I was in trouble and I needed help or I needed to get something done quickly, I'd pick up the phone and call Karen in legal, who I've spent time going to see it in her office and sitting down and getting to know her personally and professionally and taking the time to build these relationships, right? Relationships are like plants, okay? And don't give me the cactus thing, I don't want to hear it. But you have to water the plant. Otherwise, it doesn't grow and it dies. So if you don't water relationships, you don't put work into the relationships, it's not going to grow, it's going to die, right? So it doesn't matter what kind of relationships, friend, dating, professional, you got to put work into it, right? And I know some of you are like, oh, Brad, this is so much work. Yeah, it is. Sorry. But if you do it the right way and you build these genuine relationships, everything opens wide open. Everything's so tangible for you. and you will surround yourself with incredible people that make you better and bring you happiness. And then, yeah, opportunity does sometimes come from that. But if you approach things genuinely, you're going to surround yourself with good people. So I was at Warner Brothers for 2 years, and I maximized my time at Warner Brothers. I'd be there from 9 to 5, 9 to 6. Before Warner Brothers, I'd be working on other projects, taking meetings, growing, doing what I can to get better. And then after 5, 6 o'clock, I'd be taking meetings, working on projects, doing shoots, whatever I could. Weekends, same thing. Monday to Sunday. And yeah, it's exhausting, but I would not have it any other way. It's very stressful too, and I would not have it any other way. But once again, like, if you want a life around your passions, you got to put in the work. And I promise you, if you do these things, you're going to put yourself in a very good position to be successful. And now, I left Warner Brothers. I've been independent ever since, producing everything from film to TV to music to events. I'm managing talent from athletes to influencers. We got TikTok fans in here, right? Okay, so I work with a lot of TikTok creators, a lot of Instagram creators, working with the biggest brands and companies in the business. You know, the studios that I mentioned earlier. I'm speaking all over the world, which is something that I absolutely love. I love connecting with you guys. I love meeting you guys. And there's nothing better than hopefully saying something that impacts somebody's life in a positive way. I'm now hosting, which is awesome. Another thing I never thought possible, but once again, I'm fearless and I'll take any and all opportunities that come my way. And I'll fall on my face 400 times. But guess what? I pick myself back up and I'll get better because of that, right? So I want you guys to understand that too. There are so many times where I get a phone call where they're like, Brad, I need help with this. And if your answer is, I don't know how to do that, sorry, you just missed that opportunity. When someone calls me and they're like, hey, I need help with, engineering, I'm certainly not the person for that, right? So I immediately am like, give me a few days and I'll get back to you. And if I can't help them myself, I'm going to come back to them and say, hey, my friend James, lights out engineer, he can help you with this problem. So now I personally didn't execute and get that done, but I was the person that handled it and was able to get that done for them. So it's the same thing. You got it done, right? And if your phone's ringing and you're getting stuff done and solving problems for other people, you will put yourself in the best possible situation to be successful. And that should be the goal. Eric Ebron, the tight end for the Steelers, when he came from the Colts, every new player that comes to town for the Steelers, I reach out and I say, hey, welcome to the family. I've been around the team since 2005, 2006. If you need anything, let me know. Ebron was like, hey man, I need a house. I'm like, I'm not a realtor. Like, what? But I said, okay man, give me a few days. I made a few calls and I ended up finding a person who helped him get his house. That started with me. Because I didn't say, hey man, do I look like a realtor to you? No. But I took that opportunity to help him. My boss in high school at the movie theater I worked at called me years ago and was like, hey man, I have this movie script from horror legend Victor Miller, who created Friday the 13th. Here's a script, he wants to get it made. What can you do? Now Baker knows me, and he knows I'm going to figure it out. So he just lobs it to me, and then I take it from there. And I exhaust any and all possibilities and do whatever I can to make it work, right? So I made a few calls, and I ended up making a movie, an actual feature film. I helped raise nearly $5 million for this film, which I've never done before. But guess what? If you don't try, you're never going to know what you're capable of doing, right? And that's something I want you guys to understand, because you have to put yourself out there and try new things, because you will find the best version of yourself, and there's nothing better than that. Okay? So reaching out, offering value, building long-term genuine relationships. I mean, truly, to have any relationship with a guy like Robert Downey Jr. at whatever capacity is a blessing. I've admired him for so long as an actor and as a human. So to have him in my life, to talk to him occasionally, to be a part of his team for a short while, that's something I'll forever be grateful for. And I'm also a big Marvel fan, so you know I got nothing but love for Tony Stark, right? So guys like that, guys like Willie, once again, his family is here. Like, he can be here, he's coaching, respect, right? But his family's here, guys. Like, that means so much to me. But building these long-term relationships, these genuine relationships, magic happens, truly. My career is the definition of it. But I put that emphasis into building these relationships and providing that value. Right? So, recently, I had the opportunity to get involved in the hosting space, in the journalist space, right? I always look for value, opportunities to add value, right? So I'll look at something, if there's a gap, I'm gonna try to fill it with value, right? That's my goal day in and day out. So I was at the movies with my friend, and we're sitting there, and we're watching M. Night Shyamalan's Old. Anybody see that film? Yeah, that makes sense, because the budget was, not great. Anyway, we're sitting there early, and the pre-show's running. It's called Nuvi. And I look at my friend, I say, DM Nuvi right now. I'm gonna do the same. So we both DM Nuvi. They DM us both back the next day. And I had a call with them 2 days later. And I had a pitch, obviously, of value that I wanted to provide to them. And now, pending any major setbacks, you're gonna see me and my buddy on every movie screen in North America starting next weekend. We have our own segment for the pre-show. So working at a movie theater in high school, and now actually being on the big screen, pretty cool, not gonna lie. It's insane. But once again, I saw that opportunity to add value to that company. I didn't ask for anything. I said, here's what we wanna do for you. And they're like, okay, sweet. That's what you gotta do. You gotta look for opportunities. Opportunities are not just gonna come to you. Hey, Mackenzie, got an opportunity for you. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to go out and find these opportunities yourself. Have your eyes open and be ready to add that necessary value. And that's, like I said, sometimes working for free, volunteering, doing what you need to do. And that's how I got to where I am today. And like I said, I want you guys, when you end up leaving state, to get the careers you want, live your life happy. Happiness is key, guys, truly. You can always get more money, but if you're miserable in what you're doing, life sucks. And we have a finite amount of time here, and an unknown finite amount of time here. Make the most of it. And I want nothing but the best for you guys, truly. And you guys, like I said, I truly believe you can accomplish whatever you want to accomplish if you put in the work and do things the right way. And I truly believe that you can connect with anyone, big or small, if you handle things the right way and focus on building long-term genuine relationships. If your goal is to get something right out of the gate, it's not going to work out for you, and your reputation is going to be done. Warren Buffett says it takes 20 years to build a good reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. It's about 5 seconds with social media. Different world we live in now. All of you in this room are a brand, whether you like it or not. If you're posting on social media, that's a direct reflection of who you are as a professional, as well as a personal. Right? Who you are personally and professionally on social media. And trust me, the brands and companies are looking. They will look at you on social media and say, okay, I've seen all I need to see. I know who you are. So make sure you're putting your best stuff out there, because your reputation is everything. And you don't want to make a misstep. So once again, my goal here tonight was to hopefully say something that impacts your life in a positive way. And I started this by saying the Selena Gomez story with my mom. In January of 2020, I went to the world premiere of Universal Pictures' Doolittle, starring Robert Downey Jr. And I shared the carpet with insane talent as Rami Malek, Robert Downey Jr., and Selena Gomez. So once again, I truly believe you guys can connect with whoever if you're building genuine relationships and providing that value. And I want you guys to go out there and make it happen. So for the rest of the time here, it's going to be open mic. I want you guys to ask questions. I want you guys to be involved, be engaged. Because I can sit up here and talk about myself for another 15, 20 minutes. But that's not going to be super beneficial to you. I want to answer your questions, okay? So we have mics here. And I want you guys to start. So who's going to be first?
How do you know Gustavo?
Stephen Kramer Glickman?
Yeah.
Yes. Out of all the people, that's hilarious. Steven's a great guy. He's hilarious. I actually met Steven at a party. But that's Los Angeles. Like, truly, if you get in the right circles, You go to events, you go to parties, and you literally run into people you never thought like possible. But the picture of Gustavo up there, I brought him in and we worked with him on the movie Storks. So we were actually shooting ADR. He was Pigeon Toady. I don't know if you guys saw that movie. Hilarious role for him. Definitely check it out. Next, let's go, rapid fire. Yes?
You said you shared the carpet with Selena Gomez. Did you get to meet her?
So unfortunately, that's the next step in this journey because she had about 4 nose tackles surrounding her. So that did not work out, but we're one step closer, you know what I mean? Next, come on, rapid fire. Come on, you've had 2 people go already.
I'll go. Who's your favorite person that you've ever met?
Who's my favorite person that I've ever met?
Besides me.
Besides you? Oh man, well, I don't have an answer now. I would definitely say Robert Downey Jr. I mean, that guy is an absolute legend and a phenomenal human being. I'm looking for hands. Yes.
Do you have any good stories about hanging out with Robert Downey Jr.?
Good stories that I can tell about Robert Downey Jr. No, Robert's great. I think the moments sharing with Robert and Jimmy, who was the guy that changed my life and gave me that opportunity, those moments that we all shared together were really special. Unfortunately, when Jimmy passed, that was really devastating for both of us, and we've been able to, I would like to think, get closure together because of that. But, you know, going over his house and just spending time with the guy. Like, it wasn't for show, it wasn't flashy, it wasn't stunting or flexing or anything like that. I was just grateful to be in the room, you know, and learn from the guy and grow, you know. So just being around him was just amazing, and seeing him at these carpets. I was at the world premiere for Avengers Endgame, which when you look at the people who attended that event, I frankly had no business being there, but I was there, and those moments mean the world to me. Yes?
When exactly did you meet Robert Downey Jr.?
When?
Yeah.
Ooh, I moved out there in 2015, I think, so it was during Age of Ultron. So I moved out there, and about 2 months later, I was at the premiere for Age of Ultron, so that's when I kind of got involved with him and his team. So that was a really awesome, hey, I love seeing the hands. Let's go.
What was the coolest job you've ever worked?
The coolest job. Okay, so this is a great story. I want you guys to listen to this one, for real. Okay? So when I worked at Warner Brothers, I loved my job. I loved what I did day in and day out, and I got to work on these campaigns and these films that I loved. You know, Wonder Woman, Kong Skull Island, Lego Batman movie, all these awesome IPs that I grew up with. And working for a famous studio like that, it was awesome, but I wanted to do it for Disney. I wanted to go to Marvel and do the same job there. And I tried time and time again, and I failed 3 times, okay? I came runner-up for 3 different jobs. And I was bummed, but I didn't give up on my goal and my dream of working with Marvel and Disney, right? So when I went the independent route after my time at Warner Brothers, I actually worked on the marketing campaign for the biggest movie of all time, Avengers Endgame. And that was an insane project to be a part of, and it just shows the full circle element, right? I brought an artist to the table, one of the biggest in the industry. He designed some artwork for the campaign, and that poster is hanging in my office, and it's signed by everybody. And that is a constant reminder of not giving up on your goals and your dreams, no matter how many obstacles or adversities you come in contact with. Same question? Nice. Go Braves!
Yes. Hopefully we got it. I saw on your little write-up that you did like the marketing for like Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yes.
What kind of experience was that?
So same thing. So the artists I brought to the table for Avengers Endgame, we designed a bunch of artwork for that campaign. He's a really talented artist, one of the most creative people I've ever met. His name's Boss Logic, and he designed all the posters, all the branding. You would see his stuff on benches and buses around town, billboards. So just to be a small part of those campaigns, just was a dream. I grew up with Spider-Man, the animated series, so like I love Spider-Man. He's one of my favorite characters, so to be a part of that campaign was amazing. And right now I'm doing everything in my power to be a part of No Way Home in December. Wow.
Sorry.
Calm down.
I have a question.
Yes.
Did you meet the
Yes.
I love that show.
Yes, me too.
That's
Yes,
so-
I'm friends with Shay. She's,
Oh, I love her.
yeah.
Have you met Justin Bieber?
Have I met Justin? No, not yet.
Oh, not yet.
Not yet. But I was just at Dan and Shay. You like Dan and Shay?
I love Dan and Shay.
So I met those guys about a month ago up in Pittsburgh. So
That's so cool.
yeah, great guys, super talented.
Life.
Yeah, the best. But yeah, PLL. I'm also good friends with Brendan Robinson, who played Lucas. Yeah, great guy. And that's what, for me, like when you watch these shows and these films and you get to meet these people personally, it's just a different experience. You have more appreciation. Just like connecting with athletes, you watch them on Sundays and whatever, but to meet them as people and have relationships with them, it's just way better.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yes.
What value were you offering before you were like a producer?
Hey guys, please. What's that?
When you were in college, like what value were you offering before you became a producer? Do you know what I mean?
When I was
Like applicable to.
when I was here, oh yeah, I was trying to add whatever value I could. So in high school, Facebook launched. That was like a huge thing when it first started. So I really dove into Facebook and tried to learn everything I could about Facebook to then take it and offer it to my athletes to help build their brands online. And then I did that for companies and other brands, and that was like the first wave of social media. So once again, understanding that, okay, people don't know how to use this, so I can bring that value and teach them how to use it and then execute it for them, right? So with you guys right now, you have the opportunity to look at certain things. Depending on what job you want in life and what your career path is, there's always something you can bring to the table. You just have to be willing to go get it, right? They're not gonna come knock on your door and say, hey, do you wanna do this? You have to hit them up. It's like sales. The more doors you knock on, you're gonna get a lot of no's, but that next door that you knock on could be the yes that changes your life, truly.
We got a question over here.
How did you meet Robert Downey Jr. and then which fraternity were you affiliated with?
Fraternity, 0. No frats. I met Robert because of Jimmy. Jimmy was the man that changed my life, who gave me the opportunity. Jimmy worked with Robert for over 20 years. He was his best friend, his right-hand man. So because of Jimmy, I had that opportunity. And that's how I met Downey.
Here you go. Oh, no.
What's my next project? I'm looking to do what I'm doing now at a higher level and more consistently, right? Hollywood's very competitive. It's very difficult. But with the relationships that I have, notice I said relationships and not contacts, the relationships I have, I'm constantly building. So my brand, I'm getting a lot of sponsors now where I'm actually monetizing me, which is insane. But that has been the goal. Once again, everybody in this room is a brand, right? So if you brand yourself appropriately, not only are you going to be appealing to other companies, but you then can monetize yourself. You see all these influencers and people making millions of dollars. It's because they branded themselves and they have a platform. So for me, the thing I mentioned earlier, the movie stuff, I have a full slate of films that I'm working on, trying to get them into production, managing talent at a higher level. I'm looking to get into the music space, have a few fun projects on the music end as far as management goes. And then just continuing to do right now with my consulting with the major studios and being a part of that. And then I've been doing a lot of interview stuff now where I sit down with the talent from a specific film prior to its release, interview the talent and have that experience. So very recently in the past week, I sat down with Kit Harington. Anyone? Game of Thrones? Jon Snow? Yes. So Kit Harington is in Eternals. So very exciting. And I got to sit down with him. I sat down with Judy Greer and Andy Matichak for Halloween Kills. Jack Dylan Grazer from Ron's Gone Wrong. He's in Shazam and It Chapter 1 and It Chapter 2. So doing more of that. I want more, right? I'm not complacent. I'm not satisfied, but I'm always grateful. So I'm just trying to continue to build and establish my brand in that difficult industry. Hold on one second.
Yep.
All right, so I just got finished doing a play for NC State, A Midsummer
Nice.
Night's Dream, and yeah. And so this question's not only just for me, but also for like my fellow cast members. For any actor who's trying to break into the industry, especially starting out in theater, what some advice do you have for us?
Well, actually, I'm going to give advice from Robert Downey Jr. And his advice... Here's the thing. When you want to act, right, a lot of people want to immediately get into film and TV. That's their goal. I want to be the next big star in film and television. But let me tell you something. Theater, that's a cheat code. If you can do live theater, TV and film sets are a breeze. So you need to get as much experience as you can. Do theater, short films, student films, get as much experience as you can, because most people aren't thinking like that. That's too below them, right? But if you're okay with doing that, you will set yourself so far ahead of everybody else because you will have tangible experience. And your reel will be insane. I just sat down with Xochitl Gomez. She's a friend of mine. She's starring in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, coming out next year. Next big star for Marvel, okay? And I sat down with her and I was talking with her mom, and all she talked about is how many shorts she's done, how many theater plays and musicals she's done, and her reel, because of that, the student films, everything that she did at a very young, she's young. So the experience she got, now she's in a Marvel film, right? Where most people want to go from nothing to a Marvel film, that's never going to happen. It's very rare. So you need to go out and get as much experience as you can. Student films, theater, short films, commercials, get on set, build these relationships with people, genuine relationships with people, long-term, follow up, be consistent, and watch what happens. Next, come on. Yes.
We have a question from Carolyn. Where have you spoken internationally?
I spoke in Sao Paulo, Brazil, at the end of 2019. And that was a really cool experience because that was not too much after speaking at NC State when I was last year off campus. So I went from speaking at State to speaking in Sao Paulo, Brazil. And I had a translator in my ear because they were speaking Portuguese. And there was a delay because I would speak, it would then be translated to Portuguese, and then vice versa. So it was a weird experience of having that delay, but it was an unbelievable experience. And I really found that the stuff that I talk about, the topics that I focus on, translates even in Brazil. And that was so cool to have these people come up to me afterwards, and I would have to get it translated, but they really resonated with what I spoke about, and that meant the world to me. So I spoke in Sao Paulo. I spoke remotely in Canada because of the pandemic, but I'll be going back there as well. But looking to do more of that in the future for sure. Yes?
We have a question from Jack. Why weren't you in a fraternity?
Well, Jack, I was working full-time with that agency and school. So my choices, I didn't have a ton of free time to join a frat. No disrespect. The fraternity hype is real. Like, I'm surprised. You guys are intense. Huh?
There's a lot of sorority in front.
Apparently, way more than when I was here. What's up?
What's your favorite place you've ever been to?
My favorite place that I've ever been to? Personally, I would say Hawaii. Hawaii is the best. So Hawaii, I love Hawaii. Oahu, Honolulu, beautiful. Sao Paulo was amazing. And I'm definitely looking to travel more as I expand with the pandemic kind of allowing travel again.
We have a question.
Excuse me?
Johnny Sin, do you know him?
No. No.
We have
Yes.
a question from Christina.
So I recently got into the Disney College program. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it.
Nice. Come on, yeah.
But my dream is to one day work in corporate or the executive of Walt Disney World.
Sure.
So what advice do you have for making the most of my 6 months in Orlando and working for Disney?
It's a great question. Maximize every second that you have there. And that's working your butt off and building as many genuine relationships as possible with every single person you come in contact with. Hey, calm down, guys. Come on. With that, you're going to meet a lot of executives, okay, and a lot of people that work for Disney, but also connect with the other students that are in the program. And this goes for everyone in this room. Everyone in this room you should be trying to connect with and build long-term relationships with, because this is the future of business. You guys are the future of industries that you're going to be doing, right? So it's cool to have mentors who are already established in that space, but your peers are going to rise with you. So when you build with them, they end up being the studio executives down the line, right? So don't neglect your peers and your friends and people who are around the same age as you, because they're going to evolve just like you. So if you have 6 months in Disney in Orlando, make the most of it by building as many genuine relationships as possible, offer as much value as possible. Don't turn your nose up or miss an opportunity to provide that value or solve problems for other people. And once you leave, you maintain those relationships. You put the time in, DM, email, text, whatever, call. Maintain those relationships, okay? Congratulations, that's amazing.
All right, we have a question from Cole. He wants to know, what's the first step in making a genuine relationship?
Wait, don't laugh, don't laugh. What was the question?
What is the first step in making that genuine relationship?
Showing people that you're genuinely interested. And that takes time. Once again, when I wanted to build a relationship with Willie, I had to put the time into showing him I was for real. Because most people want to come in and they want something out of the gate, or they're not getting a response fast enough because these people are busy and they quit. But if you're consistently not giving up and you don't quit and you continually show them that you want to be a part of their life and you want to get to know them, right? Hey, let's grab lunch, let's grab dinner, let's hop on a Zoom call. Just show that you're genuinely interested in them. And when you hop on these calls or go to lunch or go to dinner, it's not about you, right? It's like going on a date. If you're talking about yourself the entire time when you're on a date, it's probably not going to work out well for you, right? So when you're going into these meetings, it's no different. These opportunities to meet new people and grow with new people, you got to put the time and effort in. And then after you have that meeting and that opportunity to get to know them, you follow up consistently. Every couple weeks, just checking in, or you see something that they accomplished that was really cool. Hey, congratulations on this campaign. It was awesome, right? Just show love. Consistent love and support. It's the easiest thing you guys can do to show people that you care, right? But a lot of people don't do it because it takes time and it's work related, right? But you can comment, you can like, you can share posts, you can send DMs, emails, texts, calls, and just show people that you care. And when you do that, you separate yourself because not a lot of people have the patience to do that. But if you do have the patience and you genuinely care, amazing things happen. Yes?
We have a question from Sam. What TikTokers have you worked with?
Yes. So I am very much in the pop culture space. So if you follow a lot of film, TV, content creators, the big one I work with is Soups. Soups, S-U-P-E-S. He's huge from the Marvel and DC fan theories and everything like that. He's one of my best friends. I work a lot with him. Taya Miller, Straw Hat Goofy. I'm very active in that space. But yeah, TikTok, it's booming. So if you're not on it and you're posting hopefully professional stuff, you're going to be in good shape.
I hate to tell you, Mr. Lambert, we're about out of time.
Okay.
One more round of applause for Brad.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming out tonight. We hope to see you guys at more red and white events this week. Hope you guys are having a good week. Be safe going home and go Pack.